So this thought has been in my head for a while. I've been definitely pondering on it for the last couple days, but I have expressed this same thought down in the comments section with some of you guys numerous times. But I figured I'd make it into a video because I think it is worthwhile to help. It's more of a mind soother. Instead of giving you guys an accurate date of when all the BS stops. But there is a pattern I'm starting to see. Prior to making YouTube content, I didn't officially know a real INFP in my real life. So a big part of me starting the channel was, again, just trying to, just tired of having to explain myself to everybody. I just wanted a kind of place to kind of let my hair down or whatever. And so I needed, I formed the YouTube channel, which is obviously targeted. Everyone's welcome, but like I'm targeting a more accurate, close, like-minded type to myself. Because again, it just allows me to be a little bit more open without the fear of judgment and people, me having to explain myself every 5 seconds of what in the world I'm even talking about. So it doesn't mean you guys understand fully what I'm always saying, but it's just less than it is when I go out the front door. Targeting the INFP audience, finding out where you guys are all hiding. I have access to, comments and things. You guys do as well, but I mean, this stuff comes into my phone like, 24/7. So I get to talk to a lot of you guys, and a lot of, I've talked to enough older INFPs to where this similar thing has come into play to where it does provide a pattern, because I'm like, I thought that might have just been me, but there's numerous other people. So let me get, so the book of rules in societal ways was written by a bunch of old dudes with the feathery pens, and we didn't have any INFP representation at that meeting. That guy was out chasing a bird or going on a hike or something like that. I don't know where he was, but he wasn't in this meeting. So this book was written by a lot of types that aren't really like us. But it's a book that somehow makes it to where every type of human being out there needs to fit in this box, because this is what we said to do. And this is how life needs to be because we wrote the rules. So anyway, obviously you guys know that INFPs aren't big on everyone else's ideas of the way to live life. Even INFP to INFP, we aren't going to necessarily agree with how we want to live our lives. But we do crave the fact that people don't need to cage us in, tell us what to do. We want to live our own life to how we feel we want to live it. But when you're growing up, coming up into the teenage years, there is a level that you kind of need somewhat of a structure, so your parents have some kind of guidance to do with something. We can learn languages and not walk into walls all our life, things like that. So there is a level of that that's important, but when you start getting in the teenage years and kind of becoming into your own little human being person for yourself, that's when just the confusion and the suffering and everything else just comes into play. No one gets us. All this stuff it's an uphill battle. And again, the society ways of, formal education. I've never been a formal school type person. I've never enjoyed it. It's not suited for an INFP. It's really not. Some INFPs I see all the time, they get master's degrees and things like that. That's great. But for me personally, I just never was set up. And there's a lot of people that don't function well in formal schooling. But that's what we have. So the ones that do fit better in it, they excel. They're walking around.
High school were the great days, and we're smiling and having fun and giving our friends high fives everywhere.
And, we're sitting there at the cafeteria lunch table just like, why are all these people having all this fun and look like they're enjoying school when I am like some kind of alien? And, everyone's just like, ew, I don't know. Starting off in the school years, we're doing that. Then, we graduate into going into a job. We quickly find that
I don't really fit into this whole job thing either.
It's like, this is not something that's super interesting to me. So we start having all these thoughts in our head, like, all these people getting promoted, passed up, all these people, like, again, smiling.
Woo! I'm excited.
And we're just like, what in the world? What's going on? There's a big thing that said that, INFPs are like one of the most suicidal thought type people of the types in like around the college years. So like early 20s and things like that. It's, in my opinion, that's massively due to because we're being forced into this square, like this defined path. And that goes against everything that is our being deep down inside of us. And we don't know what to do about it. So again, the suicidal thoughts can come in. All this stuff creeps in because again, society, the whole, I don't know. I don't, but so, our minds are going in a tailspin of craziness because we don't necessarily know what we're doing. We could be job hopping all the time. We don't necessarily know what college degree we want to go into. Leaving all these unfinished projects everywhere. We're dabbling in things. We go into something and then we give it up because we're interested in something else now. All these other people are like, oh, look what I made. And we're like, I can't make anything because I'm getting too inspired by all of what life has to offer. And this is the beginning part of where I think all this stems from in the life switch that I'm gonna talk about later. When we start growing up in life and this and that, we wanna experience all these little tiny things that come into our path. This is exciting, it's the whole squirrel mentality where you pop over there and you look around. It's a lot of that we do, and I think the more you do that, even though in the time you guys are doing it, if you're in your 20s watching me right now, if you're doing it right now and you think you're wasting your time, in my opinion, you're not. I know you may not be producing much right now. You may not be getting awards for not producing anything. All this stuff, but what you are doing is setting yourself up to enjoy the second half of your life better than the first people enjoy the first part of the life. How that comes about, in my opinion. So like when I was around mid-30s, I had this thing I refer to as like the switch kind of thing. So I think when we're going through life and we're just so overwhelmed with everything that's going on, it's just so chaotically minded. We're still trying to figure out what we like, what we don't like. Why do all these people like all this stuff? Why don't I like all that stuff they like? So many different facets of what's going on. It's just overwhelming for a very long amount of time. But for me, and for some of the other older INFPs I've talked to numerous ones that have said similar things, around mid-30s to 40, 45, around there, they also had this moment of clarity to where it's like, it feels like this big weight is lifted off your shoulders. It's not like, and it's like a hard, like, switch kind of thing. It's not like a gradual, it's getting better. It's like this hard weight to where I think what happened was all that dabbling and playing around just finally sunk in, and it just was like, you have this extra boost of confidence where you're like, you know what, I don't have to fit in. I don't have to do what they're doing. We're inclined to kind of follow all them because like that's where society's going. So we're gonna be like, well, I don't want to be left behind. You guys are all happy and smiling. I want to be happy. I want to be happy. No one wants to suffer. So what we do is we kind of follow that. We're like, no, we don't like that. We don't like that. We don't like that. We don't like that. We just keep going up that little society ladder of, the American dream and all the other dreams, the other country dreams that there are in place. We keep going up that ladder. And then there comes a point when everything sinks in. We're like, you know what? I don't like necessarily none of that stuff. You're definitely gonna like some of it, but like you're not gonna like a big part of it. But that confidence sinks in to where the fear of other people judging you and all this other stuff that we have, that doesn't fully 100% go away, but there's a lot that just falls off. And that's how I seen it. And there's a lot of older INFPs have said to me, same thing. They were like, you know what? I was a police officer for this amount of time, and then I seen all the corruption. I didn't agree with what was going on. I didn't do this and this. So then I clean houses for a living or whatever. When you finally like just register that really deeply, not just like, yeah, I know, but when it really, really sinks in, you kind of have a switch mentality to where I think the later part of life, I don't think a midlife crisis suits an INFP. I don't necessarily, it's not to say we can't have breakdowns, but I think midlife crisis is more reserved for that majority of society. Because again, going through all those facets, they're like,
oh yeah, I like this school stuff. It all aligns perfectly with how I'm designed. So does the work stuff.
So again, the success. So they're going down what's dropped in their hands from birth. And then when they get to the older age, the wisdom sinks in and all this stuff, and they're just like,
wait a minute.
And then they have all these like wonderings of who they actually are instead of the company and all the stuff that they kind of went down those paths. Now they are interested in themselves. what they did and didn't do in life, their regrets, all this stuff. But by that time, we're already are super confident on our path, and we're like, oh yeah, we know how to do this stuff, you know. When they retire, they come home like,
honey, I'm home.
and then all of a sudden it's like,
Well, I don't really know what to do right now because society they didn't make a path for after.
the biggest thing for this is I think all the dabbling and all the stuff you do, it's not to be, don't discredit it. Just accept it, go with it. I'm telling you, I firmly believe that the more you experience in life, the better and quicker your life is going to flip or turn that switch on, like I said. And this whole thing of when your life gets better and this is completely dependent on the individual. So yeah, if you just don't try in life and you just like, you know, you don't want to do anything, then your life is going to be horrible till you die. And I'm sorry you don't want to hear that, but it's the truth.
He's a little aggressive.
So there is a level on our part that we have to kind of endure to get this happiness. So again, I see it all the time. Just like, I don't know, don't be discouraged. Just try not to. Obviously, when you're in it, you want to just, I want to get there now, but I don't think you can get there. Like, I don't think there's a cheat code is what I'm trying to say. I think it's just a time-based thing, and it's all that little dabbling that we're doing that, you know, people are discouraged about. But I think it does bode well later in life because that's what I'm experiencing, 100%. I'm super excited about my 40s. I believe that the second part of my life is going to be the happiest part of my life. And it's just attuned to, like, you know, kind of the first half of life, a lot of it sucked. And it's not to say that the other types, the other preferred side, they don't have their own problems. Everyone has their own problems. It doesn't mean they don't. But when it comes to the basis of fitting into the societal mold and going with the little flow of the program, they have it easier. I don't give a what they say. It is easier for them in that aspect. So other parts of life might not be, but in that aspect, it is easier for them. It's harder for us. It doesn't mean we can't succeed. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. We just got to try a little harder. But I'm just saying the benefit of that weighs heavier in the reward department for us when we get later in life. And I firmly believe that. So just keep dabbling. Don't give it too much negative thought. I just think that you need to just go along with it, and eventually it'll happen for you. And then we'll get our time, and they're gonna come into their time. Not that I wish harm on any of them. I wish harm on those people that wrote the stupid book. I'm gonna go break all their feathers. I'm gonna find a time machine or whatever. Anyway, okay, I'll let you go. This is probably long again. See you later.
Slow it down, dreams still yours if you want it. Enjoy the ride, 'cause those ups and those downs